If you want to be rich, the brutal truth, let me tell you something that nobody wants to hear but everyone needs to understand. If you want to be rich, you must stop doing what poor people do. This sounds obvious, yet 99% of people seeking wealth continue following the exact patterns that guarantee poverty. They work the same jobs, think the same thoughts, make the same choices, and then wonder why their financial situation never changes. If you want to be rich, truly rich, not just comfortable or getting by, but wealthy enough to live life on your own terms, then prepare yourself. Because what I am about to share will challenge everything you have been taught about money. It will contradict the advice of well-meaning parents, teachers, and friends. It will require you to think differently, act differently, and become a different person entirely. The question is, are you ready to hear the truth? Or would you prefer to remain comfortable in the lies that keep you poor? The harsh reality about wealth here is the first truth: being rich is not about income. It is about assets. You can earn $1 million per year and still be poor if you spend everything you make. You can earn $50,000 per year and become wealthy if you invest wisely and build assets that generate income. Poor people focus on paychecks. Rich people focus on building wealth-generating systems. Poor people ask, how much does it pay? Rich people ask, does this build equity or create passive income? Poor people trade time for money their entire lives. Rich people create systems where money works for them while they sleep. This is the fundamental difference. And until you internalize this difference completely, wealth will remain beyond your reach no matter how hard you work or how much you earn. If you want to be rich, stop selling your time. The single biggest mistake people make is believing they can work their way to wealth through traditional employment. Let me be absolutely clear, you cannot get rich working for someone else. Not truly rich. Not never worry about money again rich. Not generational wealth rich. Yes, you can earn a good salary. Yes, you can live comfortably. But your income has a ceiling, the number of hours you can work multiplied by your hourly value. Even high-paid professionals hit this ceiling. Doctors, lawyers, engineers, they earn good money, but they remain trapped trading time for dollars. If you want to be rich, you must break free from this model entirely. You must create value that is not tied to your time. You must build assets that generate income whether you are working or not. You must design systems that multiply your efforts rather than limiting them to the hours in your day. This means business ownership. This means investments. This means intellectual property. This means creating things once that can be sold infinitely. This means building teams that work while you strategize. This means leverage in all its forms. Poor people hate this advice because it requires risk, effort, and fundamental change. They prefer the false security of a steady paycheck, even though that paycheck will never make them wealthy. If you want to be rich, live like you're poor. Here is a paradox that most people cannot grasp. The fastest way to get rich is to live like you are poor even when you start earning more money. This is called the wealth gap, the difference between what you earn and what you spend. The larger this gap, the faster you build wealth. Most people do the opposite. They earn more and immediately inflate their lifestyle. New car. Bigger house. Expensive clothes. Fancy restaurants. Designer everything. They feel rich because they spend like rich people, but they remain poor because they save and invest nothing. If you want to be rich, reverse this completely. When your income increases, keep your lifestyle the same. Live in the same modest apartment. Drive the same reliable car. Eat the same simple food. Take the increased income and deploy it, invest it, use it to build businesses, acquire assets, create more income streams. The truly wealthy understand delayed gratification at a level most people cannot comprehend. They will live below their means for years, even decades, investing every available dollar into wealth-building activities. They look ordinary while building extraordinary wealth beneath the surface. Meanwhile, the poor and middle class look wealthy while being broke. They have all the status symbols and none of the actual wealth. They are one emergency away from financial catastrophe, living paycheck to paycheck despite impressive incomes. Which would you rather be, actually rich but appearing modest, or appearing rich while being actually poor? If you want to be rich, develop rare and valuable skills. Your income is directly proportional to how much value you create and how difficult you are to replace. If what you do can be done by millions of others, you will never be paid well. If what you do is scarce and valuable, you can name your price. This is why learning generic skills keeps you poor while developing rare, valuable skills makes you wealthy. Anyone can stock shelves, answer phones, or perform basic tasks. These skills command low wages because the supply of people who can do them is enormous. But how many people can write code that solves complex problems? How many can create marketing campaigns that generate millions in revenue? How many can negotiate multi-million-dollar deals? How many can lead teams to execute ambitious visions? How many can design systems that scale? Few. Very few. And those few get paid accordingly. If you want to be rich, stop learning what everyone else knows. Stop doing what everyone else can do. Develop expertise that is rare, valuable, and difficult to replicate. Become so good at something important that people have no choice but to pay you premium rates. This requires years of focused effort. It requires studying when others are watching television. It requires practicing when others are relaxing. It requires constantly pushing yourself beyond your current capabilities. Poor people are unwilling to make this investment. They want immediate returns. They want comfort now. They choose entertainment over education, ease over excellence, mediocrity over mastery. And then they wonder why they remain poor. If you want to be rich, think in decades, not days. Poor people think short term. They focus on immediate needs and wants. They cannot delay gratification. They need pleasure now, relief now, results now. Rich people think long term. They make decisions based on where they want to be in 10, 20, 30 years. They plant seeds today knowing they will not see the harvest for years. They sacrifice present comfort for future abundance. This time horizon difference determines everything. It determines whether you save or spend, whether you invest or consume, whether you build skills or seek entertainment, whether you create assets or accumulate liabilities. If you want to be rich, extend your time horizon dramatically. Stop making decisions based on how you feel today. Start making decisions based on who you want to become and what you want to have decades from now. Every choice compounds over time. Small daily decisions seem insignificant in isolation but become monumental over years. Saving $10 per day seems trivial. Over 30 years at reasonable investment returns, that is over $500,000. The coffee you buy daily, the subscription services you barely use, the impulse purchases that provide momentary pleasure, these small leaks drain hundreds of thousands of dollars from your potential wealth over a lifetime. Meanwhile, small investments in learning, in health, in relationships, in income-generating assets, these compound into extraordinary wealth and quality of life. Poor people cannot see this because they cannot think beyond this week or this month. Rich people see it clearly because they train themselves to think in decades. If you want to be rich, stop taking advice from broke people. This should be obvious, yet most people violate this principle constantly. They take financial advice from parents who struggled with money their entire lives. They listen to friends who are as broke as they are. They follow conventional wisdom that has never produced wealth for anyone. If you want to be rich, only take advice from people who have actually achieved the wealth you desire. Study how they think. Learn what they did. Model their strategies. Ignore everyone else, no matter how well-intentioned their advice might be. Your broke uncle does not know how to get rich. Your struggling neighbor has no insight into building wealth. Your coworkers who complain about money cannot teach you financial success. They are all operating from the same mindset and strategies that produced their current situation. Why would you follow that path? This is harsh but necessary. Most people in your life are financially incompetent. They have opinions about money, strong opinions, but their opinions are worthless because they are based on their own failures and limitations, not on actual success. If you want to be rich, you must be willing to ignore the advice of 99% of people and seek out the 1% who actually know what they are talking about because they have done it. If you want to be rich, fail fast, and often poor people are terrified of failure. They play it safe. They avoid risk. They choose security over opportunity. And in doing so, they guarantee that they will never become wealthy. Rich people understand that failure is tuition in the university of wealth building. Every failure teaches valuable lessons. Every setback reveals what does not work, bringing you closer to what does. Every mistake, properly analyzed, accelerates your learning and growth. If you want to be rich, you must be willing to fail repeatedly. Start businesses that fail. Make investments that lose money. Attempt strategies that do not work. But learn from each failure. Extract every possible lesson. Adjust your approach. Try again. The difference between those who become wealthy and those who remain poor is not that the wealthy never fail. It is that they fail forward. They use failure as feedback rather than as an excuse to quit. Poor people fail once and conclude, "I tried that and it did not work." Rich people fail and ask, "What did I learn? What will I do differently? How can I use this experience to succeed next time?" Your first business will probably fail. Your first investments will probably lose money. Your first attempts at creating wealth will probably disappoint you. Accept this. Embrace it. Plan for it. But do not let it stop you. Each failure brings you closer to success if you are paying attention and adjusting your approach. If you want to be rich, become comfortable with discomfort. Everything about building wealth is uncomfortable. Working when others rest. Saving when others spend. Investing when others consume. Learning when others are entertained. Taking risks when others play it safe. Comfort is the enemy of wealth. Every time you choose comfort, you sacrifice potential wealth. Every time you avoid discomfort, you delay your financial freedom. If you want to be rich, you must become someone who actively seeks discomfort. Who does hard things deliberately? Who pushes beyond current limits constantly? Who makes the difficult choice even when the easy option is available? This means having uncomfortable conversations about money. It means making investments that keep you awake at night. It means starting businesses despite fear and uncertainty. It means saying no to social pressure and doing what is financially wise rather than what is socially acceptable. Poor people organize their lives around comfort. They want easy jobs, predictable schedules, minimal stress, maximum leisure. And they get exactly what they optimize for: comfort combined with poverty. Rich people understand that lasting comfort comes from becoming wealthy, and becoming wealthy requires temporary discomfort. They embrace the struggle, knowing it is finite, and leads to permanent improvement in their financial situation. Hashtag if you want to be rich, obsess about value creation. Money is not made, it is earned by creating value for others. The more value you create, the more money flows to you. This is the fundamental economic reality that most people fail to grasp. Poor people focus on extracting value, getting paid, getting benefits, getting what they deserve. Rich people focus on creating value, solving problems, meeting needs, making other people's lives better. If you want to be rich, become obsessed with creating massive value. Find problems that people will pay to solve. Develop skills that create significant benefits for others. Build products or services that genuinely improve lives. Then scale that value creation. Find ways to help not just one person but thousands or millions. Use technology, systems, and teams to multiply your impact. The more people you help, the more wealth you create. This is why entrepreneurs often become wealthy while employees remain middle class. Entrepreneurs build systems that create value at scale. Employees create value 1 hour at a time. If you want to be rich, think constantly about value creation. In every situation, ask, how can I create more value here? Who needs help that I can provide? What problem can I solve that people will pay for? If you want to be rich, invest in assets, not liabilities. This distinction is simple, but most people get it exactly backward. Assets put money in your pocket. Liabilities take money out of your pocket. Rich people buy assets. Poor people buy liabilities and think they are assets. Your primary residence is not an asset, it is a liability. It costs you money every month through mortgage, taxes, insurance, maintenance. It does not generate income. Yes, it might appreciate, but while you own it, it drains your wealth. Your car is not an asset, it is a depreciating liability. It loses value constantly while costing you money in payments, insurance, fuel, and maintenance. Your designer clothes, expensive gadgets, luxury goods, all liabilities. They cost money and generate nothing. If you want to be rich, stop buying liabilities. Start buying actual assets, rental properties that generate positive cash flow, businesses that produce profit, dividend-paying stocks, intellectual property that creates passive income, anything that puts money in your pocket rather than taking it out. Every dollar you spend on a liability is a dollar that could have been invested in an asset. Every dollar invested in an asset eventually becomes multiple dollars through returns and appreciation. This is how wealth compounds. This is how the rich get richer. They use their money to buy things that make them more money, while the poor use their money to buy things that lose value and cost them money. If you want to be rich, leverage other people's time and money. You cannot get rich alone using only your own time and money. The math does not work. There are only so many hours in a day and only so much capital you can accumulate working alone. If you want to be rich, you must learn to leverage, to use other people's time and other people's money to multiply your results. Other people's time means building teams, hiring employees, outsourcing tasks, creating systems where others work to build your wealth. One person can only produce so much. 10 people can produce exponentially more. 100 people can produce results that seem impossible for an individual. Other people's money means using debt strategically, finding investors, raising capital, using financial instruments to control more assets than you could buy with only your own funds. This is how real fortunes are built. Not through individual effort alone, but through orchestrating the efforts of many and deploying capital beyond your own resources. Poor people are afraid of leverage. They do not want to borrow money. They do not want to manage people. They want to do everything themselves, maintaining control and avoiding risk. Rich people embrace leverage. They understand that modest leverage dramatically accelerates wealth building. They know that managing people well creates more value than working alone. They use debt as a tool, not as a burden. If you want to be rich, develop the skills to leverage effectively. Learn to lead teams. Understand how to use debt strategically. Build systems that multiply your personal efforts. If you want to be rich, develop financial literacy. Most people are financially illiterate. They do not understand how money works, how taxes work, how investments work, how businesses generate wealth. This ignorance guarantees poverty regardless of how much they earn. If you want to be rich, you must become financially educated. Read books about money. Study investing. Understand tax strategies. Learn about business structures. Know how debt works. Understand cash flow versus capital gains. Learn about asset allocation and risk management. This knowledge is more valuable than any degree. It is more important than your job skills. Because financial literacy determines what you do with every dollar you earn, and those decisions compound into either wealth or poverty over your lifetime. Wealthy people never stop learning about money. They study continuously. They seek expertise. They understand that financial knowledge directly translates to financial results. Poor people think they already know enough about money. Or they think financial education is boring or unnecessary. They rely on basic common sense, which is usually wrong about money, or they follow conventional wisdom, which is designed to keep people poor. Invest in your financial education. Make it a priority. Spend money on courses, books, and mentorship from people who have actually built wealth. This investment will return more than any other you can make. If you want to be rich, start now. The most expensive words in the English language are, I will start when. When I have more money. When I have more time. When I know more. When circumstances are better. When I feel ready. These are lies you tell yourself to justify inaction. There will never be a perfect time. You will never feel completely ready. Circumstances will never be ideal. If you want to be rich, start now with what you have. Start small if you must, but start. Take the first step today, not tomorrow, not next week, not next year. Every day you delay is a day of potential compound growth lost forever. Someone who starts investing at age 25 with modest amounts will have far more wealth at 60 than someone who starts at 40 with larger amounts, purely because of the additional years of compound growth. Time is your most valuable asset in building wealth. The sooner you start, the easier the journey becomes. The longer you wait, the harder and more desperate the situation becomes. Stop planning. Stop preparing. Stop waiting. Start doing. Start now. Start today. This moment. Take one action, however small, that moves you toward wealth. Open an investment account. Read the first chapter of a book about business. Write a business plan. Make your first sale. Whatever the next step is for you, take it now. If you want to be rich, accept that it will be hard. Building wealth is hard. It requires sacrifice. It demands discipline. It takes time. Anyone who tells you otherwise is selling you something. There is no shortcut. There is no hack. There is no secret method that makes it easy. Yes, there are strategies that work better than others. Yes, there are ways to accelerate the process. But all of them require hard work, smart decisions, and persistent effort over years. If you want to be rich, accept this reality completely. Stop looking for the easy path. Stop searching for the magic formula. Stop believing in overnight success stories that never show the years of effort that preceded them. Embrace the difficulty. Understand that the hardness is what creates the barrier that keeps most people poor. If it were easy, everyone would be rich. The difficulty is what makes it valuable. The years of living below your means while investing. The countless hours building businesses that might fail. The difficult decisions to save rather than spend. The social isolation of pursuing wealth while others pursue pleasure. The stress of taking calculated risks. The uncertainty of building something new. All of this is hard. Accept it. Embrace it. Do it anyway. Because on the other side of hard is rich. On the other side of sacrifice is abundance. On the other side of years of disciplined effort is financial freedom. The final truth: if you want to be rich, you must become a different person. Not just act differently, but fundamentally transform who you are, how you think, what you value, what you choose, how you spend your time. You cannot become wealthy while remaining who you are today. The person you are now created your current financial situation. If you want a different result, you must become a different person. This transformation is not comfortable. It requires shedding beliefs, habits, and relationships that no longer serve you. It requires adopting new ways of thinking that feel foreign and uncomfortable initially. But this is the path. This is what separates those who achieve wealth from those who merely wish for it. You now know what is required. You know the truth about building wealth. The question is, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you continue doing what you have always done, hoping for different results? Or will you accept the hard truths, make the difficult changes, and commit to the journey regardless of how long it takes or how hard it gets? If you want to be rich, truly rich, not just dreaming about it, the time to decide is now. The time to change is now. The time to act is now. Everything you need to know is available. Every strategy has been proven. Every path has been walked before. The only question remaining is whether you have what it takes to walk it yourself. If you want to be rich, stop reading. Start doing. Begin today. Begin now. Your wealthy future is waiting. But it will not come to you. You must go to it. You must create it. You must earn it. The choice is yours. The power is yours. The responsibility is yours. If you want to be rich, you know what to do. Now do it.